My name is Jessie Cooper, and welcome back to Q&A at IABA. Today, the question that I'm going to answer in this limited series is, how do I find a school for my autistic child? I'm going to back it up from there, and then I'll answer your question, promise. And so where I want to start with is way back in the 1940s, early 1950s, where the amazing, wonderful, beautiful Judy Heumann helped to pass the Americans with Disabilities Act. And in this act, she was able to move forward legislation that said every child, regardless of their ability or how they learn, is entitled to an equal education and facilities that support them. And so thanks to Judy's wonderful work, we've come a long way as a nation. We still have a ways to go, but we've come a long way in offering equal education regardless of ability. And with that, today and for the past decades, in each school, your child, if they are autistic or have learning differences, has a right to an individualized education plan, or 529. And so in each school, before we think about, does my child need to be in a school with other children who are neurodiverse, and or my child is engaging in some pretty unsafe maladaptive behaviors and may need a specialized school while they stabilize, before we get to either one of those spectrums, we want to get back into the center and remember that each child has a right to learn in the least restrictive environment possible, and your school has a duty to teach your child. And so because of this legislation. And so I know this can be overwhelming, and sometimes it's easier just to say, hey, let's just go to a specialized school. And if you want something that's different than your district, start with some outside therapies to help flex those muscles and learning skills and decrease those maladaptive behaviors to help support your child and learner to be in their least restrictive environment before going through the option of moving to a school for children who are only neurodiverse. And those schools can be great and wonderful, and it can be great for your child if they are autistic to be around other autistic peers. But again, just want to go back to the principle of least restrictive environment. From there, when you are working within your school, do and always make sure after the 15 pages of assessments and questions and interviews and the feel of overwhelm of how is my child going to learn, hold the knowledge that your child can learn. All children can learn. And the environment that they're in and the education system that they're in is going to support that learning. And so, yes, the schools are going to take control of what should they be doing at grade level. Are they able to be around peers? But you as mommy and daddy are able to say, I know that my child can learn. And as we sit in these meetings and as you tell me what they should be doing for their age and all the different overwhelming things, walk it back to yourself and say, where is my child at now? What is most important for them to learn today? What's going to benefit them most in the future, 6 weeks from now, 6 months from now, 6 years from now? And then making sure that the school is breaking down skills and goals in a way that your child is making progress. As a clinician, I've sat in a lot of IEP meetings and a lot of goals that get recycled every 6 months, every year, every 6 months, every year, every 6 months, every year, and we're not seeing progress over time. And that is a failure of the school and not a failure of the child. If a child isn't learning, we're not teaching. And so if you do find yourself in that situation, I'm going to take you now to your question, where your child is not learning in their public school, and or your child is having a really tricky time with dangerous behaviors. So they're struggling with physical aggression or self-injury. You are saying, hey, I think we need a more restrictive environment with always the goal of a more inclusive environment, and you want to find a school for your autistic child. I'm going to tell you something groundbreaking. Google, of course, is going to be your best friend to figure out what is closest to you. But as you look up, where is a therapeutic day school near me, moms and dads that have been there before you are truly who you need to put yourself in connection with to see what has been their experience, how responsive is the school to the needs of their children. Does the school use seclusion rooms, for example, for dangerous behaviors, which is a big red flag? Or has their child seen progress and a decrease in their challenging behaviors through the therapeutic strategies at that school for other parents who have children who are also struggling with challenging behaviors? If they've had a child who had a tricky time learning in their public school, are they meeting their goals now? Is there a higher access to reinforcement and social validity because they went to this school, which means they're able to go on playgrounds, they're able to do play dates, they're able, if someday they want a job, to have a job? What value does this school add? So while yes, I know, super easy, Google what is close to me, don't rely only on Google reviews. Get in contact with the school. Hey, is there a parent support group? Hey, do you guys have a PTA? When's the next community event at your school that parents and community members attend? Do you have somebody that goes to your school that would speak to me as a referral source? And so look for the school and then find your tribe. Look for the parents to ask if their child is being supported, with the goal of always, as it is with ABA, when somebody comes into my clinic, my job is to get them out of the clinic. And when children go to school, they're to come into school to go out in the world as the best version of themselves they can be. I hope that this served you, and I can't wait to talk to you next time in Q&A at IABA.